I am an investor or a well-to-do person, and I'm sitting on a lot of cash. And I'm not sure if it makes sense for me to get pre-approved and buy with a loan, or if I should just buy all cash. I'll think about the pre-approval.
Well, I get it. Congratulations that you have a lot of money to play with. That's good news. Every real estate salesperson's dream to play with people that have a lot of money or a lot to spend or whatever have you. I get it. That's great. My response to this, however, would be to go through with the pre-approval process, and here's why. Just because you go and get pre-approved doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use the pre-approval. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to buy with the pre-approval. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to buy at all, right? Like, it can expire. It can go away. It's no harm, no foul. It's not a big deal. There's no like massive penalty or anything like that. It just goes away. And when you're ready to renew it, you renew it. That could be the next month, the next year, like whatever have you. So there's no harm, no foul in getting pre-approved. And if you are an investor or just a well-to-do person and you're trying to determine whether or not it makes sense to buy with a pre-approval versus all cash, right? That many things could come into play to try to get these questions answered. But let's just summarize by saying you're trying to determine which possibility is acting in your own best financial interest. I can respect that. Any agent can respect that. But how are you going to be able to make that decision on your own by sitting down and meditating on it? That the best way to make the decision, and in addition to meditating, which is not necessarily always a bad thing, but in this particular situation, I would suggest getting the pre-approval, having the paperwork in front of you, having the documentation in front of you, building that rapport with your loan officer, getting an understanding of what you can and can't do with the pre-approval. And when you have all the loan terms laid out for you and you have a much more crystal clear picture of your buying abilities with that pre-approval, then at that point, you're much better prepared to determine whether or not a loan versus a cash deal makes better sense for you, right? So yet again, I come back to even questions like this, which are perfectly logical to me, but I still come back to the same solution every time, that I, as a real estate salesperson, 8 years in the business, I've never really seen or heard of a situation where if you are a potential home buyer, it would make sense to me for you to not get pre-approved. Like, maybe a situation exists, but I've never seen it and I've never heard of it. So for all of you unicorns out there, I don't know. Maybe unicorns exist. Maybe they don't. I've never seen one other than on TV. But maybe this situation exists. Maybe there is a situation whereby not getting pre-approved is reasonable. But again, folks, I've been in the business a while now. I honest to God don't know of any. All right. So having said that, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the question.